Hello, my loves. Juliana Hemicke coming to you live on YouTube and Facebook. And we have sound, beautiful. And we are on day 50. And sometimes when I write this, when I first started writing these, I started out with addressing unconditional love. I addressed unconditional love and asked for guidance. And the channel, um, got refined and opened more, and I was able to receive more clearly the messages that were for me. And that's all I knew. And then I don't even know when it started, but I brought in God. And then sometimes I even just addressing unconditional love, the frequency that I would receive would be different sometimes. And also sometimes it was not like I am here for you, but sometimes it was even we are here. So then there were like collectives of beings, of guides, for example, which I up until now, I'm not able to distinct and like really see, know, hear who exactly is speaking to me, but I feel the difference in frequency. And then I started addressing God, and then God came through. And whoever we address, and when we trust that who we're addressing is also coming through, the more and more we practice it, the clearer and clearer the frequency will be. And so now the frequency of God coming through is very distinct. I recognize it. And then sometimes I have days where I address God, but love comes through. And like this is all semantics. It's all not important after all, because whatever comes through from whatever energy and from whatever realm is for me, and it's perfect then. And it's interesting for me to notice. And sometimes, which that was today, the frequency of God is a very like almost a strict father energy, which I understand. I did not grow up with religion. I grew up with absolute freedom of mind in all directions. There was no religion in the house. There was also no God in the house. Of course, there was God in the house, but we didn't speak of God. We didn't have an understanding as a family. My dad would always tell, like funnily, proudly, but I think like somewhat actually proud that he went to like a church kindergarten, but the church didn't have any relevance in our life. So, and also though, I remember because my brother, he is very logical. And there was a time when he got to a point where he's like, there are things that I cannot explain to myself. Like I don't understand. Like, and also humanity doesn't understand, fully grasp. And so there must be something bigger out there. And so in his logical mind, he was like, well, this must mean there is a God. And I remember distinctly we had this discussion on one of our many family dinners. Um, I just because I would always scan the room for all energies and mm, feelings and thoughts around stuff. I scanned the room in that very moment, and there was only openness and only peace and only like, all right. And that freedom is an extreme blessing because now I can receive a strict fatherly frequency from God. And all I do is I feel the love in the strict voice and I sit up straight and I freaking listen. Because the true divine father, the archetype of the divine father, not what religion made of it, but the archetype, the universal archetype of the divine father is absolute love, is unconditional love, and points towards our potential. The divine father, the archetype of the divine father, knows our potential and knows what we're here to do. And it won't allow us to slack and to not fulfill our destiny. That is the archetype. And that is the frequency that came through today. It's like, stop like doing mind games and stop turning to weird sources of confirmation and whatnot. Listen. All right, I'm going to read, then we contemplate a little more, and then we read again. Dear God, what would you have me know today? My sweetest, listen. You don't have to force or create alone. I am here to guide you always. When you create, when you desire, bring me in, ask me, talk to me, dream with me. Nothing is too big. It is never too much love. Yes, your message is big and clear, but it is always full of love. Your desire to feel my love for humanity, to see the world like I see it. I planted this in you for a reason. Remember, you will speak my word and my work into existence. There aren't many who operate in this realm. It is not your job to find people like you. It is your job to trust me and to serve humanity by serving me. I need you to listen every step of the way. Choose to believe that our channel is the strongest, clearest, most potent channel you have in your life. Come to me for guidance. Listen and trust. I have got you, and we are about to do big things, even for me. Love and trust. God. Yeah. So what I've started to do, which that is a fascinating thing, and before, I started to do this work and to before I was able to actually channel like these beautiful clear messages, which they become clearer and clearer the more I do it. Well, that's no surprise, right? Um, I sometimes saw people talk about how God is their business consultant. And every week they would have a business a meeting with God about their business. And then they would ask God about, like, so what's the right next move for me? What would you have me do? Not just what would you have me know, which I could probably perhaps change that question sometimes and ask, what would you have me do? But they would sit and contemplate with God. And well, before I was like, well, thank you for that, because I'm going to sit there by myself and not hear anything. So I needed to establish the channel before I could do that, of course. I cannot yet use a function that I have not yet established. So now I have done that. And what I have started doing, which that was an advice that my mentor, Melanie Enlayer, gave to another woman inside her, one of her containers, one of the coaching calls. And she said to be really clear, like every step of the way, ask God. Like if you write something, piece of content, for example, or a piece of marketing, if you write a program or if you market a program, ask God, is this clean? Is this clear? Do I have to like take something out? Am I in full trust and in full faith in you, God, by posting that piece? Or do I have to change something here so that it carries the frequency of me being in full trust and full faith in you? And I have started doing that. And for now, it's like the practice, the way I do it is pretty simple. I think I can, like refine that in the future, but I've just started. And what I do is I write, and I write whatever comes through. Sometimes it's like me really thinking, like, okay, so this is something that I want to say, and then I like all poetry is channeled though, like whatever I write, like write a first draft, and then I close my eyes, I take a breath, and I think or say, God, is this the piece I am supposed to write? Is this the way I am supposed to write it? Is there anything you want me to add, I need to add in order to reach the people who are supposed to find that and to who are supposed to, be called by that? Would you have me change anything? And I take a breath, and then I read what I wrote. And then the feeling that I have about what I wrote will be infused by God's eye, by God's knowing. And that has been working pretty well. Which yesterday I wrote a piece and it had a little more of a sharper tone. And that happens. And I have that side in me. Is it a side? It's an unrefined version of something that's coming through. So, you can say the same thing with different tones. You can say it with your mind. You can say it slightly judgmental. You can say it pressing and pressuring. Or you can say it with love. In your energy, upright, calling in what is meant to come, and infuse the same message with love. And then it's a whole other vibe. And so the piece that I wrote yesterday had a little more of a sharper tone, which I posted it, and then I felt like, not, it's not, doesn't feel right. And I was like, well, is this just unfamiliar for me? Because usually I don't write sharp tone pieces, sharp toned. And I sat with it, and after sleeping on it this morning, I decided, no, I wanna look at that piece with the eyes of God, which I had not done yesterday. And then I remembered, and I did it this morning, and I changed a couple of lines just in the tone, not in the content. And the message is the same, the essence is the same, but the tone, the wrapping, the form, slightly different. And so now it feels good. Now it feels in more loving integrity. Yeah, so I can recommend that. And this letter here is calling me to really every step of the way, take a breath, invite God in. And then what happens is, it's not, for me at least, it's not that all of a sudden there's God yapping into my ear. It's a heart opening. It's a higher version of myself. It's like high wisdom that all of a sudden gets activated. And it's like, I look at whatever I look at, if that's a conversation, if that's something that I contemplate, if that's something I wrote, I look at it with wiser, more loving eyes. And then I adapt certain things, change certain things. And that works for me. All right, so we read again. Dear God, what would you have me know today? My sweetest, listen. You don't have to force or create alone. I am here to guide you always. When you create, when you desire, bring me in, ask me, talk to me, dream with me. Nothing is too big. It is never too much love. Yes, your message is big and clear. but it is always full of love. Your desire to feel my love for humanity, to see the world like I see it. I planted this in you for a reason. Remember, you will speak my word and my work into existence. There aren't many who operate in this realm, and it is not your job to find people like you. It is your job to trust me and to serve humanity by serving me. I need you to listen every step of the way. Choose to believe that our channel is the strongest, clearest, most potent channel you have in your life. Come to me for guidance. Listen and trust. I have got you. We are about to do big things, even for me. Love and trust God. All right, my loves. I will see you tomorrow.